Today I'm going to show you how to set up a ProfiNET master with the CoDeSys Control for WAGO PFC200. For this demonstration I'm going to be using a WAGO 750-8202 PFC200 PLC, and for the ProfiNET slave device I'm going to be using a WAGO 750-375 ProfiNET coupler. We're going to start with firmware 8 on the PFC200, firmware 5 on the coupler, and let's get it set up.
I'm using 16-channel digital output on the PLC and 16-channel digital out and 2-channel thermocouple input for the ProfiNET coupler. I'm wiring the coupler to port X2 of the PLC. The next step is I want to go to wago.us, go to the download wizard, and download the GSDML files. There's a link in the description to download these as well. Once we've done that, we'll navigate to the PLC's web-based management. We've already flashed this to the CoDeSys 3.5 runtime, and I've linked the video for this as well. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to separate the Ethernet ports so they are running separate networks. So we'll go to Networking, Ethernet, select Separated. Then we'll navigate back to TCP/IP and we'll set a static IP for port 2 with .100 address. Your project will have your own settings. So we'll extract our downloaded GSDML files to the desktop, and we're really just going to extract the most current folder 2.31. We'll leave those on the desktop. We're going to create a new project. We'll call this ProfiNET, and we're going to select the CoDeSys Control for PFC200 SL target. When our project is open, we're going to select the device, and we're going to scan our network to find the specific PFC200 that we're working with. Once we've selected that, you'll see it goes active, and we'll click Online Configuration to go ahead and scan the backplane. Select PFC200 bus, scan for devices, and select the I/O modules. We're going to do this just so we don't get an error. Next, we're going to install our GSDML files. So go to the device repository, install, and you can use the device files that we've extracted to the desktop. Once it returns, we'll go to the device, we'll right-click, and we'll add a device. And if we expand ProfiNET, we have an Ethernet adapter. We'll select that Ethernet adapter, add it to our project. Now we'll double-click that adapter, and we need to pick the interface that we're working with. Remember, we separated these ports, so we're going to use the second port, which is BR1. We select that, and now we can right-click on Ethernet, add device, and we'll click our ProfiNET I/O master and the ProfiNET controller. We've added the ProfiNET controller now. You can double click on the ProfiNET controller. You see it automatically selects an IP range. You can change this if you like, but we don't really need to. We could try to scan, but we're not online with it. So we need to go online, and not online configuration, but we'll actually go online with the project because we need the bus running. So we'll go online, and then we're going to put the PLC into run mode. In run mode, you'll see it activates the buses. We've activated the Ethernet bus, and it will activate the ProfiNET controller bus. Once that goes green, we can then select this on the topology, refresh the topology, and it will return all the devices that it finds that are ProfiNET compatible. You'll see it found our WAGO 750-375 coupler. So we're going to assign an IP address to this, 192.168.100.75, and we'll enter the subnet mask. And then we've got a lot of options at the top of this. We can assign auto IP if we wanted, but we want to control that. So if we select nominate, it will actually write these settings to the coupler. Once that's completed, we can refresh the backplane again, or refresh the network, and it will turn up our WAGO 750-375 with the correct settings. So now we can right-click on the ProfiNET controller and scan for devices. It's going to return not only the coupler that we're using, but all the I/O modules as well. We'll stop this, we'll log off, and now we can double click the module, or excuse me, the coupler, and we're going to extend this reduction ratio. So we don't want it to scan every millisecond. We're going to select a reduction ratio of 32 for the I/O that we have. You can play with this to gain speed advantage. And we'll select each one of these I/O modules, and we can now tag the variables to that. So for my 16 digital output module, we've got a 2-byte array. We're going to call this myProfiOuts, and we'll also go to the thermocouple input, and we're going to name this first channel myProfiTC. We'll go to PLC PRG, and we're just going to write a very simple couple lines of code to control this. We want to send some output bytes to the output module, so we're going to just do a quick for loop to increment each byte value. And we're also going to read the thermocouple input, so we'll just create a tag called myLocalTemp, and we'll make this equal to the input value, which is a word. We're going to convert that to a real and divide it by 10, which will in turn give us our local temperature in Celsius. Now we've completed this, we can log into the controller and see if we're actually getting values. Now we switch to run. We're going to wait for the ProfiNET network to initialize. And once this works, we've got output data going to our output module and input data coming from the thermocouple. Now, one of the benefits of ProfiNET is the configuration that's done over the network by the master. So as you can see here, we've got some things in the coupler that we can modify. One of the things that I'm going to modify is I'm going to substitute the output states with a failover state. So we've got a substitute value for our outputs, and I'm just going to take bit 0 and bit 15, and I'm going to make them high if the network fails. You can see we've also got some configuration to do in the thermocouple module. But just to test this, this is a really nice capability because the coupler has a large amount of control over how it fails if it loses a network connection. So we're going to go online with this, and we'll bring up the video of the coupler. You can see it's running, and I'm going to remove the network cable, and you can see now I've got bit 0 and bit 15 both went high when it lost the network. If I restore the network, you'll see it takes a few seconds for it to reconfigure and do some error checking, and then it restores itself. This is just one of the many benefits of ProfiNET. Thank you for watching, and please be sure to post your questions.